Alright, this is a video by shoeonhead, the male loneliness epidemic. Now, mind you, I had this video in my recommendation. I had to look at what this channel was about because I don't know what was going on. The first thing I saw was comedic social commentary from a left-wing populist point of view. Now, I watched like one video and it was about Sneako. Now, she's very ironic. Like, she does a lot of sarcasm. So I don't know if this video is gonna actually talk about men being lonely or she's gonna just troll all day. And plus, I think she's liberal. So this is very interesting. I don't watch liberal videos because they obviously are against God. They hate God. They don't want nothing to do with God. They support abortion, the killing of babies and all that. So I don't know how am I gonna feel about this, but I like watching videos that are opposing my view sometimes, especially when they actually have common sense and they're not like a weirdo or like lack understanding in some way and they're not ignorant. So let's see what she's talking about. Yeah. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, let's get into it.
I regret to inform you the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
You deserve real love.
Turns out the society that was built by and allegedly for men has indeed let them down. Now you might be thinking, oh look, another boo-hoo poor men video by shoeonhead. Yes. And if you have a problem with that, tune into literally anything else. Men are in a crisis, and it seems
Did you drink a Monster? That's already a red flag, man. Yeah, anybody that drinks Monster is very scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like, something is going on with them mentally. And also, I don't know if it's true. There's a conspiracy theory. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard that these three things mean 666, and it kind of makes sense because it is called Monster. And anytime I see someone drink Monster, there is something always wrong with them. Every single time. I've never seen a sane person drink Monster ever in my life. I never seen it. So, plus she's liberal. let me stop. But nah, for real, on a serious note, every person I've seen drink Monster, something is seriously wrong with them. So yeah, that's a red flag. I'm not gonna lie, but let's keep it going.
Nobody really cares. And the people who do care just seem like the people who want to sell them shit. Not me. I'm different. So before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Holtzkern. Holtzkern is a young
Alright, so I'm not gonna lie. What is
Austrian
this?
company that designs unique crafted watches and jewelry.
Oh no, I'm straight. Thanks. I appreciate it though. I'm straight. Get that bread though. Get that back.
Why are men and boys struggling? And what should we do about it?
A few new studies have come out that have shown that young men are more lonely and single than ever before. But it's not just men. The women and children too. It's predicted 45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. But according to the media, this is a good thing. The she-economy is booming, as they say. And meanwhile, men being single is treated like this.
New study explains why some single men are having a hard time finding a new partner.
Some of the music that they listen to speaks very derogatory.
Right. Yeah, men, stop listening to that derogatory music. Then maybe you won't be single. I don't know, I think men and women being single and lonely kind of shows there might be something wrong with society. Perhaps we should address this, not just wave it off as empowering or pathetic. According to several different articles, I love how that's my source, I read about it on the internet, research shows that people from individualist countries show a greater sense of loneliness. This is linked to socioeconomic development, increased education, a shift towards white-collar jobs, and urbanization. Japan also has an issue with loneliness. In fact, they have a whole movement of people they call the hikikomori. Did I say that right? I don't care. Basically, postmodern hermits. Mostly young men who completely withdraw from society, secluding themselves in their rooms for months and years at a time. In 2010, there was an estimated 700,000 hikikomori in Japan. and today it's estimated to be about 1.55 million. And because of things like this, people aren't having babies, so Japan's population has been in a sharp decline since 2011. It's gotten so bad that Japan even produces videos of live-action women staring into the camera to help the hikikomori learn to cope with eye contact and reintegrate them back into society. So basically, if you want to know America's future, look no further than Japan. A lot of people, including myself, blame this partially on the rise of social media and technology. RIP to the king. Although technology makes things easier, it can also make us more atomized. Why go to the mall when I can just tap, buy a new microphone, and have it shipped to me in a day? Why hang out with friends when I can get all my social interaction I need from Twitter and streamers? Why go on dates?
See, I'm not. I used to be like that. I hate that now. I don't like being on the phone. Most of the time, sometimes I don't even like texting. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather hang out with someone, IRL, take the time out of my day to go hang out with them than talk to them on the phone. I don't like being on the phone. Once we get the gist of what we're on the phone for, get me out of there. Please, bro. Don't like being on the phone. Anyway.
And bother meeting women when I could just tap, Google big boob and get 2 million results. Or see my high school crush's holes on OnlyFans for only $5. Instant dopamine, instant satisfaction, and hey, who even needs a real woman when you could just have an AI girlfriend? We're so f***ed. Dating apps really are the great Satan, and I'm convinced they've completely broken men's brains. Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. We're the ones who carry the babies. At least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too. According to Vox, Americans are currently in a friendship recession, and men are being hit the hardest. The percentage of men who reported having at least 6 close friendships fell in half since the 90s. 1 in 5 men say they have no close friendships. Looking at all these statistics, the explosion of figures like Andrew Tate is not surprising at all.
I believe being a man is a blessing because it starts so difficult. I believe that every man is born without any value at all. I think that the world's never going to think you're important unless you make yourself important.
And recently, a new study came out about how young men are moving towards the right. And every other month, we, the liberal, sockdem, leftists, whatever you want to call this space online, performs the same song and dance. What's wrong with men? Why is this happening? Why don't we have a leftist Andrew Tate? We need to push men to the left. Andrew Tate rarely, if ever, talks about politics. Andrew Tate talks about men, and the left only talks about men when they talk about Andrew Tate. A few months ago, during one of the monthly song and dances, some progressive people I follow made the mistake of addressing men's issues, and the even bigger mistake of pointing their finger at their own spaces for not doing enough to address said men's issues.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare companies.
This is the same woman that sat up here and said, stop talking about the Bible. God forgive her, man. God forgive her. That was a crazy statement. She was like, oh, don't talk about the Bible. I don't care what the Bible says. Okay. You're going to regret saying that. Watch. When Klaus Schwab closed down your crib, closed down your car, everything you have, I want you, you're going to want a Bible. And by that time, it's going to be too late.
Men are the loneliest generation, and addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that, men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't.
The responses to these tweets and this content were very normal, level-headed, and respectful. Me when I lie. Mayo, cry about it. Boo f***ing who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo f***ing who? Grow the f*** up then. Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem. Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now?
You know, half of these people would not say this to your face. That's the thing. That's the crazy thing about online. Half of these people would not say this to your face. They won't. Most people on the internet are cowards, bro. They will not say this to your face. They won't say it to your face. They won't. But they'll type it out on their keyboard or on their phone or on some device. They will not say it to your face. They won't. They'll say it over the phone, but they will not say it to your face. They won't do it. They don't want the smoke. They don't.
Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so fucking tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. Yeah, no, their fifis are not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have to be punished because they can't get their together as human beings. Grow the up. Why are we trying to win these entitled little predators over? The left isn't for them. That's why they go right in the first place. We're all lonely and alienated. It's young men going to the alt-right in droves. The problem isn't our messaging, it's them. It's literally not our problem. Men flock to Andrew Tate not because they're lonely, but because they're bigots. Hope this helps. Nah, it's just misogynists being louder than before and not getting laid. LOL. Cry harder, losers. 90% of all homicides recorded worldwide were committed by male perpetrators. We should just get rid of all males, to be honest. This includes trans women, as they still retain male violence. By the way, you know the Tumblr feminists who were like, all men are sexist and rapists, male tears, penises are evil, blah 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 back in the day? Well, this is them now. Should've just let me cook back then. Listen up, chuckle. I'm white, socially awkward, autistic, in my 40s, ugly, overweight, crippled, got a weird balding pattern, and have bad skin. You know what I didn't do? Choose to become a fascist, because I recognize most of the sort that look like me are the problem. I may be hideously ugly and pathetic, but at least I'm not a fascist. Thank you for your input, buddy. You're, really helping the situation. The reason young men flock to alt-right MRA movements is because the left gives brain-dead advice to young men. We need to be more compassionate to them, for our own sake. I'm sorry, but how is respect—
We're just gonna keep reading like debauchery comments on Twitter. Like, if I wanted to do that, I just go on Twitter. I don't want to read this all day. Like, I don't want to hear this all day.
A decent fucking human.
So we're just gonna do this all day.
Actually, it doesn't. Why does their advice always seem to be, become a liberal? Hey men, here's how to fix all your problems. Agree with me politically. Men flock to the MRA, flock to shit. Let's be honest. Aside
it's just
be around. What fixes men?
Okay, so she literally goes through this the whole time. Is this the whole video? Okay, so he finally goes on to something, toxic masculinity. Oh, this is gonna be interesting, bro.
Girl? Okay, faggot. And studies have shown that men are scared to be vulnerable, even around the homies. And can you blame them when the media says stupid like this? Fellas, is it woke to open up to your fellow men and discuss history? Men are socialized to believe strength, dominance, and stoicism are behaviors of a real man. Is it any surprise that
Hunter Avalon. This guy, he debated, what's his name? Young Don, when Young Don first became a Christian, which was one of the most worst decisions he ever made in his life. He made up for it, though. He said he took accountability for that, so that's fine. Hunter Avalon, just looking at this man, I don't have no problems with this man. I think he's very educated in what he thinks, very ignorant on certain things also. But I think he says that he's on pills or something like that. He goes through depression stages or whatever. If somebody's going through a depression stage, I don't want to hear no advice from him, period. I'm serious. If a person is depressed and going through a whole lot of stuff, why are you giving me advice? Why? What advice are you giving to me? Like, what if you are in a depressed state, what advice are you gonna give to me? You're not even well. Unless you get over that, then you can help me. How you gonna help me? I don't understand that. I don't understand that, but hey, it is what it is. I don't understand that. But anyway, yeah, that's Hunter Avalon. He went on a debate with Bryson Gray as well. He just debates people all day. I don't know what else he does because I don't pay attention to what that guy does. But all I know is that this guy's on pills. He's sad, depressed, and he rejects God. That's all I know. I think he used to be Catholic or something. I don't know if he was Christian or anything like that. I don't remember what he was, and I'll be honest, I don't really care. But all I don't know if he's still on pills now, because that's the last time I heard this from the Sneako stream or whatever. That's the last thing I heard from him. So I don't know if he's still on pills. I don't know if he still sees a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't know what he does now. But the last thing I heard was he was on pills, he's depressed, and he has anxiety. If you have all that, I don't want to hear no advice from you, period. It's just realistic. And like, it's just an example. Would you let a fat person train you? You wouldn't. Stupid. But yeah, that's it.
Lonely and have less friends nowadays? You have to be vulnerable to make friends. Don't tell me there aren't systemic problems affecting men. Now, while a lot of this may be true, men have been socialized this way for centuries, and this is all relatively a new phenomena. Toxic masculinity has existed forever. If anything, there's less toxic masculinity nowadays. The cultural embrace of like gender nonconformity, femboys, Harry Styles in a dress, Barbie movie, blah 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 blah. My point is, toxic masculinity did not just appear in the mid-2010s, but social media did, and the internet did, and the rise of dating apps did, and the housing crisis, and living in a country where the wealth inequality is worse than it was during the Gilded Age. That all happened recently. Oh my god, the privileged life these poor little boys must have, that their biggest problem is being lonely, i.e. so insufferable that nobody wants to sleep with them. So much more pressing than the poor distribution of wealth causing people to suffer food and housing insecurity. Boo-hoo, you're lonely and have no friends and are suicidal? Wah. Because feeling alienated under capitalism apparently isn't a thing. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant, men have been dropping out of college like flies, and what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate. In my opinion, leftism at a policy level does a great job addressing the material conditions that in part lead to the problems that men are facing, but then absolutely drops the ball when it comes to everything and anything related to men's cultural issues. Because
the whole purpose of the liberal agenda is to bring in the satanic agenda. That's it. There's no proper reasoning for, you know, the proper liberal agenda. Like, what positive thing y'all have? Let's keep it on it. All y'all stuff is literally destruction. LGBTQ, which just means you can't have no children. A man turns into a woman, which is absolutely a slap in the face and a spit to God, because you're saying God makes mistakes. Killing babies, abortion, woman being independent, feminism strong, men are trash, all men are toxic, men need to be in touch with their emotions. Oh yeah, defund the police, no, just a whole bunch of destruction, chaos. The white man is a problem, no accountability. Yeah, that's it. So all y'all stuff is just debauchery. That's it. And socialism, communist, like y'all stuff is just demonic. That's it. That, like, y'all stuff is just chaotic. Like, that's it. Y'all can't help with nothing. Y'all literally have nothing to help with. Nothing at all. Now, I don't associate with a specific political party. Like, the right wing has problems, the left wing has problems. I do not associate with nothing. I associate with God's standard, and that's it. I don't associate with a political party, period. So, but if I had to, it would be mostly conservative, right wing, whatever. But I don't associate, or I'm not gonna pick a specific party. But all I know is that the left wing is just a whole bunch of debauchery and chaos, destruction. That's it. And that is just bringing out the satanic agenda. Look at most of the liberal cities, bro. Look at New York right now. Look at Los Angeles. Los Angeles is literally hell without fire. Y'all don't got nothing to offer. Nothing good. Nothing at all. It's just destruction. Nothing.
Cases. And why would a struggling man even want actively hostile to them?
The question of whether or not the hashtag online left is enough to appeal. Is he wearing makeup?
What is going on? Or is this eyesore? Is his lips busted? What's going on? I'm just so confused what's going on.
The hashtag men has become the question du jour. And like, men have most of the money, authority, and do most of the murdering and assaulting.
The average young man in America isn't Jeff Bezos. Also, why did this motherfucker just FBI crime statistics at me? Men do the most murder. Okay?
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve. They like that. They want it to stay that way because it suits them. Because of the stuff, telling people they're special and deserve all the nice that they have, that's going to be an easier sell 10 times out of 10 than like saying, hey, maybe you should have less stuff.
Vampire? Like, what's going on? Like, even his teeth, like, bro, this guy must be a vampire or something. I don't know what's going on.
And other people should have more.
Leftism is when you don't have a lot of stuff. We're gonna take your stuff. You sound like a 65-year-old Fox News boomer's idea of what the left is. Are you a CIA agent? The right is saying to men, you will own a house. You will have beautiful children with your loving wife. You will have privacy. You will have free speech. You will own things, and you will be happy. And the left is like...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But don't get me wrong, Republicans will not do shit. The Republican Party will not do shit. The establishment in general will not do shit to help any of this. But the right is, at least rhetorically, offering men something other than nothing or the eternal HR department. Every time this...
Yeah, so one thing she said that was important, and I agree. The right and left can't do nothing. Once they don't have the Bible as their foundation, it's over. It's done. It's finished. That's it. If a person is in charge or runs for president, if that man is not a man of God believer, it's over. It's done. It's finished. There's nothing. Like... It's done, bro.
Discord comes up, there's people like, we need a leftist Andrew Tate. We need masculine role models on the left. But the fact is, it's hard for progressives to organically appeal to men, because a large part of progressivism is oppressive hierarchies, and men are oppressors. Making progressivism look appealing to young men is an uphill battle from the start. And although it's funny to laugh at insane people on Twitter, as always, there have been a lot of left-wing content creators talking about men's issues. If you would have told me this would be a thing 9 years ago, I would not believe you, because anyone talking about men's issues back in the day was called an MRA or a pick-me. But lately I have seen a lot of good pro-men lefty content, and I'll put some links to some below. I don't agree with all the points they say, but I recommend watching. It's much better than...
They like having all of the stuff they don't deserve.
But the issue is a lot of this lefty pro-men content, it's always framed around how do we get them? As if men are just pawns and tools for your personal politics. How do we make the left more appealing to men? How do we stop lonely men from moving to Andrew Tate? Instead of just, how do we help men? And I think that's a really big issue. Both sides seem to treat men as political fodder. Disposable soldiers in the culture war and real war. Anyway, misandry is real. Oh good, finally! And while it doesn't systemically affect cis men, it most certainly affects trans men. Oh. Y'all talking about misandry doesn't harm men, and trans men are right there reading this shit, by the way. I see, now we only care about misandry because it affects trans
we're going back to just reading
overnight
Twitter
from male
comments. What are we doing? Like, is that what we're doing? Okay, finally, something new.
And is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build.
What is this? What is this?
And to like, and nobody told.
Why aren't you including trans men in your misandry,
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
Welcome to being a man. Here's your complimentary isolation and yellow pillow. I love how even when he's experiencing the issues of being a man, he's like, this doesn't invalidate people hating men. Come on, bro. Men struggling don't want to be lectured about the patriarchy. They don't want to be told it's all their fault. They don't want to be told they're part of the problem because first of all, they're not. The average 20-year-old didn't build society. They go to work, come home, off to sissy hypno fetish porn, and go to bed like everyone else. I've talked about this before, but a lot of men's value comes from the money they make, unfortunately. Men are natural providers, and if they have nobody to provide for, they get into findom or send random girls on the internet money. I'm just kidding, but the fact is, a lot of men simply feel like they don't have a purpose anymore. Whether a job or a career that's fulfilling and pays well, or a woman or family to protect and take care of and provide for, men are lacking purpose. And a man will crawl through broken glass for a purpose. But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose? No.
That's not Jesus, though. It's not Jesus. It's not Jesus.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say
that's kind of blasphemous. You had a good point, and then you just switched off to Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is the worst example, the worst man leadership of all time. Like, I thought he was a good leadership. Well, I mean, not say good. I thought Andrew Tate was a valid man to lead young men, but his whole, like, he has no accountability. Period. Ever. No accountability at all. None. Especially when he got into his trouble that he got into, he had no accountability ever. The only accountability he had was when his clips got taken out of context and he made that long video about how he's sorry, whatever. That's the only time he took accountability. But when he did that stuff, he didn't take no accountability for the stuff he did in the past, or oh yeah, I'm sorry for what I. No, he didn't take no accountability. He was glad for what he did. He don't care. And I say this again. If a man does not hold himself accountable, which means a man can say, you know what, I'm sorry, what I did was wrong, I will do better. If a man cannot do that, that man cannot lead, that man is dangerous, and that man needs to be watched. And I'm not talking about like watch as in take away his freedom. That's not what I mean. You have to be vigilant towards him, because he's a scary man. Because that man is prideful, and he is willing to do anything to prove that he's right, and that is scary, bro. We always need a humble man that say, you know what, I was wrong, I'm sorry. An easy to say sorry guy. Now, I'm not talking about a guy that just sits up there and is soft and says sorry for every single thing. And, when the person does wrong, he know that it's wrong. He says sorry anyway. I mean, that's still good. But have a backbone. Have a backbone. You get what I mean? Have some discernment. This is why we need Jesus Christ as our foundation. Jesus Christ as a person that is our identity. Not our identity in politics. Not our identity in who we are, what we make, how much money we're bringing home, how many girls we're taking home, how many women we slept with. No, our identity should be in Christ Jesus, because he set the example. He sacrificed our life. He healed all those people. He forgave those people, even though they spit at him, they disrespected him, blasphemed him, messed him up in every type of way. He's the perfect example of who we're supposed to be, and that's how we're supposed to be every single day. So yeah, we shouldn't be looking towards liberals and all these other stuff, especially liberals. Especially. Same thing with right wing and red pill people. Red pill people, I just made a video talking about why I don't follow red pill people no more. Terrible examples. Just because they agree with certain ideologies or certain mindsets that I have doesn't mean that they're a man of God or a woman of God. No, gotta get them up out of here. If they are not born again, I don't want to hear nothing from them. Period. Just keeping it 100. And I'm not saying, I can't listen, I'm in a box, or I'm not considerate of other people's side. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when it comes to what the Bible say and it contradicts that, I don't want to hear nothing from you, period. I don't. I'm gonna be honest, I don't. And it's not a prideful thing. It's not a prideful thing. We're supposed to boast in the Lord only. And I boast in his word. That's it. I don't boast in myself. I don't boast in what I do. Anything to do with me. Everything I boast in is in Christ, and that's it. And that's how it's supposed to be. So, let me finish this video. Is there anything else?
But you know who does make them feel like they have a purpose?
This is not Jesus. This is blasphemous. This is some random person. This is not Jesus. Anytime you see a picture of Jesus or an implication of him, it's not him. It's not. This is not Yahusha. It's not him. I know it's an illustration, but this is blasphemous. It's not Jesus at all.
No, not him.
I say that life as a man is exceptionally difficult. I say the most beautiful and the most terrifying thing about being a man is you're born without value. Society doesn't care about you.
The absolute audacity to act shocked that Andrew Tate is scooping these guys up after a decade of lol male tears is insane. Andrew Tate isn't the solution to men's problems.
You're right, it's Jesus Christ. A solution to the world's problem. He already said the solution. It's not this man. At all. And I'm pretty sure God made the thing happen to him so that he can show that Christians not to follow him. I was proven that.
But he is talking to them. The fact is, you did not care about them for years. And even now you just want to recruit them, not help them. And that's why you will fail. And hey, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of the left. Men, listen up. Wash your penis. So I guess I'll leave you guys with a question. Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing? What are your solutions for this problem? And are you dealing with loneliness? And I will see you guys next time with a...
No, I'm not dealing with loneliness. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I think I said this in a video. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't. I really don't. And I don't see that as a problem. Because that doesn't make me feel any type of way. I can ride this road solo. It's fine. I'm not. Yeah, I'm never alone because God is always with me. I have the Holy Spirit in me. I'm never alone. I'm always good. God is good. I'm always good. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to worry about.
What are your solutions for this problem? And
Solution, preach the good news, tell people about Christ. That's it. Literally it. And be a Christ example and be the light of the world. That's it.
Why do you think male loneliness has been increasing?
Why do I think that it's increasing? Because men's priorities are in the wrong place. That's it. Men's priorities is to smash and dash. Men's priorities is to get this bag. Men's priority is to be the next big rapper. Men's priority is to get the next big car, the next car that's coming out. Men's priority is to, you know, get the next game coming out. Like, men's priorities is not God. That's the problem. That's why we're in this loneliness problem. Like, men are not prioritizing God. They're not opening the Bible. They are atheists, or they believe in some foolishness that has nothing to do with God, or nothing to do with the God of the Bible that led the Israelites out of Egypt. It has nothing to do with that. That's why men are lonely. Because if men actually put their focus on God, they would never be lonely because God is with them. You get what I'm saying? God will give you a batch of Christian friends. Friends that will care for you, pray for you, pray together, eat together, sup together. Like, bro, that's why. That's exactly why. And it also comes into social media, women thinking, you know, women being independent, being picky. But I'm not trying to blame it on women because it has nothing to do with women. It's the men that's the problem. Men are cowards. Men don't want nothing to do with God, and they are atheists, and they love God and don't want to open the Bible. That's it. That's really it. And men that are, you know, men that are Christian are not going out and preaching the gospel to the lost. They're just isolated and just not doing anything. They're not doing their calling that God has for their life. That's why we're in this epidemic. It's not rocket science, honestly. Interesting video. Like, this video it was kind of underwhelming, bro. I'm not gonna lie, because seeing all those Twitter stuff, like, I already hate Twitter as it is, or X, whatever, stupid name. X, really? Whatever. Anyway, it was kind of underwhelming because she just read Twitter comments, and, you know, just you know, some of the time I couldn't tell. Well, I don't watch her videos like that, so that's probably why I didn't get her personality like that. I couldn't tell when she was serious. I couldn't tell when she was sarcastic. It was sometimes I could understand she was being serious, and other times I couldn't. Like, she was being so, like, ironic. That's her character. So I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna be against her or whatever. It's funny because I think she's like a special type of liberal, because she has the United States flag in the back, like red, white, and blue. That is like a spit in the face to most liberals. They hate America. Which, if you hate America, leave. Like, if you hate the country so much, go somewhere else. It's stupid. Anyway, but then they'll make an excuse and be like, oh, you know, it's the economy. Oh, I can't get no job because of the white man. Stupid excuse, bro. People are full of excuses. Anyway, I think she's a special type of liberal because she, like I said, she has the flag in the back. She's holding liberals accountable. So I think not every liberal is like the typical liberal that's like chaotic, you know, abortion, like all the time and all this other stuff, kill babies, rapid, whatever, and like, you know, pushing their agenda down your face 24/7, down your throat. You know, I think there's some liberals that actually have some moral character and they're not like some crazy lunatic with pink hair that like has pronouns as they, them, and a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I don't think a lot of liberals are like that, especially, what's that guy's name, Destiny. I think he hates most of the people on Twitter, and he actually has like moral sense. Obviously he's on the wrong standing. He has an atheist, so you already know he's on the wrong standing already. I don't think all liberals are like this, or like those people. So I think she's a good example of holding people accountable, which we love to see. But obviously she's on the wrong standing. You know what I mean? She doesn't believe in God, and I'm pretty sure, because she just blasphemed Jesus right there, which was a huge problem, and she drinks Monster. Anytime a person drinks Monster, there is something wrong with them. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this video. Subscribe if you're new. If you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, the video on how to get saved is in the description. It is very important to your salvation. I love each and every one of you. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. God bless.